Well, welcome back to another episode of Live Bold and Boss Up. We are honored and privileged to have Mayor Jane Castor on our podcast live here. I'm so excited. You know, you are the 59th mayor of the city of Tampa. You were the first female chief of police,
Yes.
which is amazing. But not only are you so successful in business, you were also very athletic. And you were in, wasn't it the University of Tampa's Athletic Hall of Fame?
Yes.
Was it for
yes,
basketball and volleyball?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is. Well, I don't know how excited you should be about that because it was, long after my career there, but it's very exciting. I'll tell you a real quick story. My sons went to the basketball camps at University of Tampa. And so they come out and they go, "Mom, your picture's outside." And I'm
Aw.
like, "Yeah, I was in the Hall of Fame." So they go, come look. So they take me out there and we're looking at it. And my son Sealy goes, "Mom, why is that number on the ball?" And it's 1,000. And I said, very proudly, "I scored 1,000 points." And without hesitation, he goes, "Ooh, Mama, you didn't pass the ball." So I said, "That's it. No more camps for you guys."
That's interesting
But
how we perceive
yeah,
that.
that was an opportunity of a lifetime for me. I received a full athletic scholarship to the University of Tampa, and it really opened up every single door throughout my life. And the reason I'm sitting here before you today. So,
Wow.
yeah.
So did you always want to be mayor?
No, that's, people would say when I was appointed as the chief of police, say, "Did you always want to be chief of police?" And I said, "No, really, the only time I ever thought about that was when I had about 2 or 3 years on before you really know anything. And you walk around acting as if you knew everything and you make me chief, I'll fix this place." But really never had the aspirations of, rising up to that position. I just wanted to be able to go out every day and help the people out in the community. But again, my kids, I call them the levelizers. I went to a Great American Teach-In, and my sons introduced me. They said, "Mom, my mom's not a real cop. She's just the chief." They said
Aw.
she doesn't put bad guys in jail. She sits behind a desk. So, just
That's so
resounding
funny.
support for the kids, right?
Love
But
it.
quite an honor to, to have been appointed by Mayor Pam Iorio as the first female chief of police in the city. And then I've really never had any political aspirations, but it was in conversations with Bob Buckhorn, very good friend of mine, Pam Iorio, very good friend of mine, about the trajectory of our city and that it was going to grow more in the next decade than it really had in my entire life here. I was born and raised here. And so what an opportunity to be a part of the future, guiding the future of our city. So it's very exciting.
Yeah, no, that's amazing.
What made you take that leap from chief of police to mayor? What
Well,
did you do
a
that?
lot of encouragement. And I always joke that if anyone had ever mentioned anything about the fundraising portion of it, I probably wouldn't be in this position right now. I said, I've never asked anybody for anything in my life. And if you know anything about political campaigns, you have to fund them. And so that was very difficult for me.
Right.
But it all worked out.
Yeah.
Mhm.
As a Tampa native, how was Tampa back then versus now? Obviously, it's
yeah.
changed a lot.
It really has changed. I grew up out in North Tampa, and there literally was nothing north of Ehrlich. There was, it used to be Lake Park, used to be called the Sheriff's Posse. And then Zambito's farm was out there. We would go camping out in that area. Just so many changes you can't even imagine. And now, having all the jokes about our downtown, Bob Buckhorn used to say that the majority of the downtown residents resided in the county jail that used to be right down next to the interstate. So, that's not a great thing for the Chamber of Commerce to tout.
Right.
But now we have an incredible, vibrant urban core. And then just the creation, it's a unique position, I think, for cities nationwide, that we're creating entire communities. I mean, you look at what's happening in the West River, Midtown, what's going on at West Shore, Channel Side, looking at what Daryl Shaw's going to do with Ybor City Gas Works is the first step in that. Water Street, the first of its kind in the nation. Tampa Heights. I mean, we are a hip city, and I've been in Seminole Heights since I was 21, so that's over 40 years. And I say now Seminole Heights is the hip place to be, and I said. Clearly, I had nothing to do with that. There's nothing hip about me, and I lived there when it definitely wasn't hip. But
I think you're
it's
pretty
a great
hip.
neighborhood.
Yeah.
Well, thanks. I'll let my kids know.
When you were growing up, or maybe even today, do you have someone who's like a big influencer in your life, or someone you've looked up to?
Yes, a lot of people. Clearly, in law enforcement, that's a majority male in the.
Oh, that's Bernie.
Hey,
hi, Bernie.
We have. Hey, how are you? You know what? He smells Dessa, the office dog. We have an office dog too, Dessa.
Oh, really?
But she loves everybody, but she doesn't unless they have 4 legs. She's not very keen on other dogs. Matter of fact, she keeps trying to get me to pass an ordinance that there will be no dogs or cats in the city besides her. But and now I forgot the question. What were we?
Oh, if you had an influencer.
Oh, an influencer.
Yeah.
So, male dominated field in law enforcement. So my mentors were really men, mostly during law enforcement, and very thankful for individuals that really helped shape me as a person, personally, professionally. Clearly my family. I'm one of 5 kids, number 4 out of 5. So I say my mom and dad's parenting philosophy was the rest of them are still alive. You and your brother can do whatever you want. But my older siblings disagree with all that. But my parents were the type that said, you can do anything that you want to do. You just have to give 100%. And so really that freedom. And I'll tell you something that really shaped my life too was Title IX. When that came out, it says a lot of things, but most importantly for me, it said that young women could participate in organized sports to the same level as young men. And so I happened to be in junior high at that time. I know it's middle school now, but being by virtue of being 6 foot tall in the 2nd grade, growing up around mostly boys, I was a pretty good athlete. So I was involved in every sport that came along in junior high and high school, and was able, as I mentioned earlier, to get a full athletic scholarship to the University of Tampa. So that was a great opportunity.
I'm sure throughout your career and your life, you've gone through a lot of challenging things. Is there one particular thing, something challenging that helps shape who you are today, or, anything in particular that comes to mind?
Well, there are a lot, in law enforcement. Law enforcement prepares you for a lot. People would talk about going through the pandemic, and it's in law enforcement, really you deal with one crisis after another. People don't call 911 to say, hey, I just want to let you know everything's great at my house. Right. So you sort of, you're used to dealing on small and large scale with different crises. So really, when the pandemic came, it was just gathering information from all available sources, getting opinions, and then making decisions in the best interest of the community. So that was a great lesson that I was able to bring from law enforcement. But I think incidents that you go through that are really life-changing, especially in law enforcement, are things like the loss of officers in the line of duty. There's really nothing that prepares you for those types of things. Steve Hogue was my predecessor at the police department, and when I was appointed chief, he said, I hope you never have to walk through that door and tell someone their loved one's not coming home. And unfortunately, I had to do that more than once. So those are times that there's nothing that will prepare you for it.
Right. That never gets easier too.
No,
for sure.
Never, ever.
What do you see Tampa's future looking like?
Tampa's future is so bright. We should be wearing sunglasses 24 hours a day. It really is just the opportunity for us grow, but to grow very thoughtfully, very intentionally, and very inclusive. We're, minority, majority city, and our diversity is really what defines us, and the fact that we embrace that diversity and celebrate it every day. And so just to see the way that our city is changing and some of the challenges and the way that we can address those through partnerships. And we have great partnerships here in the community as well. It's something that I'm reminded of almost on a daily basis by individuals that are either moving their families here or moving businesses here, or being transferred in from different companies, governmental and private as well. And they talk about the close working relationships and how everybody gets along in our community. And that's something that a lot of people take for granted, but that's what's allowing us to grow so successfully here in our city. It's wonderful. I think everybody's kind of figured out what we've known all along. It was sort of a secret, and people have discovered the Tampa Bay area.
We were at the EDC thing last night.
Oh yeah.
And we left, and it's just so exciting.
Uh-huh.
And we're both Tampa natives, so we obviously are, we love the change that we're seeing, and it's exciting to be a part of it.
Yes, it sure is. And with the EDC, we work hand in hand. And I hear from so many companies that, we're trying to recruit to Tampa in particular, but the Tampa Bay area. And to the company, they all say, we've never had everybody come in and talk about all of the positive aspects of their community. You have the Chamber of Commerce, you have the port, the airport, the county commission, the mayor, everybody coming in to meet and say, this is a great place for you to come and do business.
Yeah. And I also we're very involved with Tampa Connection or Leadership Tampa. And those are all amazing networking groups where you can, if you're moving to Tampa, join, because they take you around to all the port, the sports areas, and kind of share and teach you all kinds of things about Tampa. So I love that. It just continues to grow and share about our
and
city.
Leadership Tampa, I still say, is the best local program that I have ever been involved in. Born and raised here, I learned so much about the city that I didn't know. And I'm sure you guys went through Leadership Tampa. You may have had the second and third best classes, but the Leadership 2000, without hands down, is the best class ever.
I love that. What's in the future for you? What are you going to do next?
Well, I have one more term, hopefully, if the voters agree and they appreciate what I've done so far in the city. I'll have one more 4-year term that will start next May. And after that, I will be 67 years old, and I will be volunteering and doing everything I can to continue to help Tampa grow successfully. But that will be the end of my professional career. So I'll be taking it a little easy.
What do you like to do for fun outside of all the work that you do?
Well, I'm one of those obnoxious exercise addicts, and I've been a cyclist. I wish I could run, but I just can't. But I'm one of those Peloton people. So that's my everyday morning. If I don't start off that way, then days go sideways. But I love doing anything outdoors. I just made the mistake of going to a boat show. I live on the Hillsborough River, and so I've ordered a new boat, and I'm going to name it My Kid's Inheritance. So I love anything fishing. People go, do you catch fish on your boat? And I said, sure, if there's a guide on it.
Right.
But, being able to just get in the boat and go to restaurants or go out in the bay. And then we go down for mini season for lobsters in the Keys, go up scalloping in Homosassa. So scuba diving, anything that involves the water, I absolutely love to do.
Yeah.
Well, I love that. I love getting to know you better. Thank you so much for coming on the show. It's been such a pleasure.
Well, it has. It's been a real pleasure. I appreciate it. Thank you.
It's been a lot of fun getting to know you, and we're just honored again to have you on. And until next time, live bold and boss up.
That's right. I love it.